This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning for this Monday morning briefing. The bell is about to ring in about 2 seconds, and we will get started here. Looks like that the market is on its lows for the session so far that opened at 5 p.m. last night. I was looking at it last night, and at one point when I went to sleep, it was down about 30, 32 points to S&P. We're looking at 60 points right now, and we just went at our lows about 2 to 3 points below the lows at this point. This is one of those times where when I was talking about that the market was going up too much, it's that's one of those unfortunate things. We look at this chart down here, the RSI, the relative strength index, and we see that for the most part over the last 3-4 months we were overbought, right? And you hear people talking about you have the Fed that is backstopping it and we were not going to go down again and things like that. Well, that's all silliness, because we've had times in the past that it seemed like we were going to just continue to go up, and then we crash because we go up too much, right? So something that's going up too much, a market is going up too much, is not healthy. Obviously, a market is going down too much is not healthy. I'm not saying this move is not healthy. This could be very healthy. I mean, let's say we were down a little over 1% on Friday, and then today, let's say we wind up down, 2.5%. We might even go 3%, right? And then let's say it stops tomorrow, then that's healthy, right? Because we were going up way too much. But if it continues tomorrow, is the move is as big as it is, then obviously that's another unhealthy type of move. But this is a good opportunity to learn. I've talked about last week of showing you the small account, the Tastyworks account, and seeing how I'm making adjustments and so forth. And at that time in that account, when I showed that I was down, but telling you that the extrinsic is so much that I plan to be up by the end of February and be outperforming the market. Well, obviously things change, and that's still the plan, but you'll see today that I'm going to have to make some adjustments. I'm going to show you some adjustments. And I waited last night. It was a couple people that I met with last night, and we made some adjustments, and probably making their situation a lot better this morning. But I decided not to make some adjustments last night so that I can show you this morning. And last night when I decided not to, the S&P was only down 28. So that's, that is, so at one point a second ago it was down 60. So it was double what it was at that time. But you can still fix situations like that. This is one of the great things about options, is that you can use time as your ally. And you've heard me say that a number of times, that if something is going wrong, just adjust and use time as your ally. Eventually things will slow down and correct themselves. In this example, people are saying it's because of the coronavirus. I think that is just a reason to go down. We should have been going down anyway, right? So if we didn't have any type of virus out there and everything was peachy and the market was showing this type of down move the last 2 days, that would have been normal, and people would be saying, the headlines would be saying people are taking profits, right? And you've probably heard that in the past if you've been trading for a while. If they have nothing else to blame a down day on, they'll say people are taking profits. But just this NASDAQ, which has just completely been out of control, look at that, right? Regardless if a virus was causing something, we were going to go down eventually anyway. So anyway, before I show you the account, the Tastyworks account, and show you some adjustments, And just want to let you know that if we have some meetings today, Monday's usually my busiest day. If we have some meetings, please understand that if someone else needs some help, our meeting might be a little shorter than normal. But as you know, I'm usually most of the time giving you an hour or close to an hour. So just keep that in mind, that it might be some other people needing some assistance adjusting the day. And just to talk about the Dorian Way this week. What we have going on is a Wednesday webinar. That Wednesday webinar is on the butterfly strategy. It's going to include everyone from Facebook, Eventbrite, and the Meetup. So you're going to have to access that webinar through Crowdcast, and you can do that by going to our website, clicking on events, and then you'll have the Crowdcast link, or you can do that from Meetup or Eventbrite, and you can access that webinar. It's going to be pretty good. I was revisiting. I don't do a lot of butterflies, but revisiting it recently, and it's something that I kind of gathered from it that can help with hedging, right? So I'll be introducing that to the Dorian Way here soon, of using butterflies to hedge. Another way to hedge outside of just using spreads and things like that. All right, so with that said, let's jump into what has been going on in the world markets. Looking at Market Watch right now, and for the most part, Asia was closed because they have their it's like their New Year's. And why is that doing that? One second here. Let me hit review here. One second. Come on. All right, something's wrong with that site. Anyway, investing.com, only thing that I was looking at for this week we can be vigilant about is that we do have GDP numbers coming out on Thursday, and that's here. And we have a bunch of earnings this week. So if you still own some stock and things like that, you want to be aware of that. And earnings obviously could help stabilize the market, or could make it worse. So want to be aware of that. And all right, so let's close this out, and then let's look at a couple of trade ideas, and then we'll jump into fixing this account here. All right, so the first trade, I only got 2 trade ideas today, and if you've been listening to me for a while here, I've been saying that the Russell's been the best trading vehicle over the last year, and it's been the best so far this year. So if you have some powder, and when I'm saying powder, I mean buying power on the sideline, the Russell might be something to put to use right now. And the first trade I have is a short put spread. The market is, obviously going down. Russell's far from its highs. So if you're going to sell a put spread while the market is down, I would do it in the Russell. So selling the 13.95, and when I was looking at this, it was the 5 delta, and buying the 13.60. So it's not going to be a 100-point wide spread. And I was thinking about doing 2 contracts so you can receive at least 100 after fees. And the max loss is only 33.70. And the buying power effect, it all depends on your account, can be pretty low. It depends on where your account is leaning at that point. So all right, so I hit clear here, and I also wanted to look at an iron condor in the Russell, and 53 days as well. So on the call side, selling the 1765 and buying the 1795. So you're going to notice that the call side and the put side is elevated today, right? So this is one of the interesting things about volatility when it spikes up initially, and this is the volatility area here. The cash is up over 23% just today, right? So I'm expecting the market to calm down, and tomorrow we won't have this type of situation. So just trying to buy time. If I'm wrong, then I'll adjust again. But in this case, you can get some good premium on the call side as well. That is that is pretty far up. And then if we go back to the put side here, I'm thinking about selling once again the 13.95, but this time doing a 50 point wide spread. So selling the 13.95 or is that actually not 50 points wide, but buying the 13.50. So all right, so that's there, and that is the trade I'm looking for. This is a pretty good trade. You got the call, you're receiving a lot more than $100 after fees and commissions. Your max loss is barely over 2,000, and your buying power can be very little for this type of trade. So if you have the buying power, please take a look at that. All right, so let's jump into this account. And once again, I'm going to be putting this account on YouTube so I can prove that wherever situation it happens, you can still win and still outperform the market. So right now you're going to see that I'm getting pummeled this morning, but that I've seen this before and I'm not going to get too worried. So the days move because of volatility and so forth. I wasn't in negative buying power this on Friday, but I am today, and this is one of the main reasons why you don't want to keep stuff until within 15 days, because I have this position that's expiring in 4 days and it's causing a big problem here, right? So last night I could have stabilized this account by doing one of the hedging mechanisms or options I provided in lesson 8 of course 1, and that's buying or selling, in this case, the micro futures. If it was a bigger account, it'd be the actual E-minis, but I could have flattened these deltas last night to make this situation a little better. So for example, you can see I have one contract here, and right here it's showing that it's going to increase the buying power. So I can put this trade on, right? So if I did 4 contracts, this will change the buying power to 2,900. And if I would have did this last night, this buying power would have been positive by quite a bit, but I didn't, right? But that's fine, because I wanted to show you this morning. If I add this again, it's going to give me 3,600 in buying power. So that's obviously getting closer to making this buying power here 0. And if I add one more, it can continue to add it for me, and then eventually it's going to stop, right? So if I add 7, it's going to stop. If I add 6, it will bring it down to something a little bit more reasonable. Since I wasn't negative on Friday, I'm not getting a margin call or anything like that. But once again, I'm not worried about that right now. What I'm worried about is, okay, how can I fix this situation, right? So if I take this front month off, and what I'm doing right now is showing you like a process of elimination, right? If I take this front month off, this is still not going to give me enough buying power, correct? So I'm clearing this. Now if I decide, okay, well, what if I roll up the call side or add the call side here, right? So what if I add the call side at the 24 delta, doing something like a 50 point wide spread or something like that, right? So that'd be here. And let's say if I add 4 contracts, then that's going to actually be negative buying power, right? So I don't want to do that. I can't do any negative buying power. So I'm going to hit clear. And let's say I decide I'm going to go to 53 days now then, okay? Go to 53 days, and I do have something on the put side there, but that's really far away. If I add this call side, and let's just say I decide I'm going to add this call side at the 23 delta here, and I'm going to go 50 points wide. So that would make it the 34.10, and then let's say I do 4 contracts, okay? So if I do that, that's going to give me $2,000 in buying power, and I'm using obviously some, I'm putting a little bit more pressure on the call side, but I'm comfortable with putting pressure on the call side, right? So I can do that and see how that will work. And I'm going to actually hit send, and that filled me right away. And then that lowered my buying power from where it was before. And then, so now what I can do is go into this area here and click review, and then see how this fixes my buying power, right? So this is going to take me down to, this is going to clear up 1500 of the buying power. And let's see if I want to test and see what happens if I take that off in the front month, 4 days, and then I add it to the back month. And let's say I add it at the, I don't need a lot, so let's just say I add it at uh, the 7 delta, because this is only going to cost me, if I hit review here, this is going to cost me 1300. I got more than that on the call side with 53 days to go. So I can take this off and put it and not put it back on at all, or I can take it off and see if I can put it on the here, and I just go let's just go 50 points, and we have 20, the 27 60 10. 1 second here. There we go. And if I add that, that's going to give me a little bit more buying power, right? As you can see here. And then if I move it a little bit more, it's going to give me a little bit more. I'm trying to get to is possible even. Maybe I bring this whole spread up a little, and maybe that'll give me a little more buying power. So that's not actually helping, and that didn't work. So anyway, let's go to 12 here, see what that does, and that didn't do it. So I'm going to stay at the 5 and do a 100-point wide, and that should make it a little clearer, and then I will make it another adjustment here. So let's hit clear, and then you see the market is off its lows right now, but we'll see what happens during the day. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to roll it out, right? So since I was being naughty and trying to keep it until expiration, or keep it longer to get a little bit more monies on it, if I would have took this off on Thursday, it would have been a really nice profit, but I was trying to get more out of it, and sometimes that punishes you. All right, so
Yeah. Hey,
we're gonna
O'Brien,
close
I
this out.
remember
Yes.
asking you to take it off. It's Keelan talking.
Hey, Keelan, thanks for
Yeah.
interrupting. Go jump in. What's up?
Yeah, I remember asking you, should you take that call off on Thursday
Yeah,
night?
yeah, yes, you did. Yes, you did. And what did I say? I told you I should take it off, right?
You
But
did, yeah.
so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep it, and then you get punished doing that sometime, and I'm getting punished. If I would have took that off, I wouldn't have had any adjustments I've had to do today. But that's just the nature of the game right there. So all right, so I took that off, right? The buying power right here is showing negative 21, right? So I mean 121. So I'm gonna go back to the call. I'm just extending duration, right? I'm saying, all right, I still can make the monies I want to make in that front month within, I mean, with 26 days to go, whatever that is. What is it? 25 days ago now. I could still get that and make this year positive by the end of February, right? But I'm gonna extend the duration to try to fix this problem as well, because I don't want to lose on anything, right? So I'm going to go to this 5 delta here, and I'm going to put on the trade again, and then I'm going to show you something that's interesting. All right, so I'm going to put this 5 delta back on, sell that one, and let's just go to the 2700. We're going to do a 90-point wide spread here and see what that does to my buying power. Uh, all right, so that is not helping my buying power for some particular reason. The thing that I showed was incorrect, huh? Let's see. All right, so let's go back to here. All right, so anyway, since I collected more than I need, let's see if we do something that helps my buying power significantly now. All right, so let's go to, we have 7, let's go to the 53 here, and let's buy a unbalanced butterfly. Let's see. I was telling you that I was doing some research on butterflies, and it might be something really good to try to check out. All right, so we're gonna buy, let's see, 20 points. Let's try 20 points here. Sell 2 here, and actually they don't it's hard to do a butterfly in this account because they don't allow you to do it, right? So you have to do it twice. So just for time purposes, I don't want to hold everybody up. Let's see what happens if I put that spread on again. All right, so that's not working. Let's try here. Let's try that 15 and do 20 points wide and see if that'll give it to me. Trying to show you process of elimination here. All right, so that's giving me a little credit there. See if that gives me a credit. All right, that's giving me a little credit, and it's only $45. It's not quite a lot. So let me see if I buy a hedge to see, since I've received more monies than I needed to buy back that other position, to see if buying a hedge would help. See, so buying a hedge is not even helping, which is interesting. So one of my other possibilities is trying to put the hedge in something else, right? So let's just say we go to this 53 and here, let's see what happens if I buy the put here. One of the good things about the Analyze tab in Thinkorswim, you can check this stuff before you have to do it. But in here, we're playing process and elimination. So let's do 70, 75, and then 74, 60. We're going to do a 100-point wide instead of a 200 here. I want to see what that does to the buying power. All right, so that's not helping with the buying power either. Let's see if I buy a debit spread here. At the 30 delta, see if that'll help. I'm just trying to relieve the buying power here, and let's see, that is not helping. And removing this 60 point, I have profit on this already. See if that takes it off. That's not helping at all. So I can see if one more thing will help with some buying power. Let's try here. And I went to buy. All right, so if I buy this one, right? If I buy this ES, it's going to give me some buying power, 776. That'll put me back in the positive. And let's just see if I do that if I go back and see what happens if I put it on. I'm either going to buy the ES to be able to get the buying power I need, or I'm going to see what happens if I put this at the 25 delta. And this is like the rollout ever I was doing. Let's see what this looks like. All right, so that's 93. And all right, so that's giving me a little buying power. Just move that out a little bit. That didn't help. All right, so I rather buy the MES, and get the buying power immediately. And this is going to give me 5 points, $5 a point. And all right, so that didn't change it enough as well I would like, but it changed it to make it positive and buy a little time for what I need. And if I take this off now, let's see what it's doing to my buying power. Use one, and so it's not helping that much. That's actually going to reduce it. So anyway, that is that. And I'm going to try one more thing. Keep saying that as a process of elimination. I want to try to see if I buy one more hedge and see what will happen if I buy that hedge. I'm going to do the 30 delta here. Let's go to this 29. See if I buy a little larger hedge, what would happen to the BP. And it is actually going negative. So I'm going to have to stay with this, but as you can see, the buying power is fluctuating. So I have a little time, and because of time purpose, I'm not going to look for another option right now, but you can see that if I can just get this, all of this here, I'm not even try to get all of that, but the majority of that within the next 23 days, because most of these positions, as you can see, are in 25 days here, or this is 32 days. That's all in February. And then if we hit this, obviously that's the, we hit this in the NQ, that is all in February for the most part. And um, and then this RTY is all in February. It's all expires. So if I can get this majority of this, I will be up and outperforming the market in by the end of February. So that is the key. All right, so I will add this to um, YouTube. Hopefully I'll be able to get that out there today. And I also will send you the recording via the way I normally do it. But this is just being able to show you that even if your buying power looks ridiculously crazy and your P&L looks nasty, not to worry about it. And I'm going to prove that to you by winning in this, and you'll see the type of adjustments. I'm going to try to show you what I'm doing as much as I possibly can over the next month. All right, so with that said, any questions? I know this is a little longer than normal. Any questions before we conclude?
So today,
Right, so
excuse me again. So today for the market, is it going to stabilize, you think, or is it going to continue to test the puts? And I should adjust my puts?
I would just be mechanical, meaning that when you're mechanical, it usually plays out well for you. Like for example, like you, if I would have took this off on Thursday, I would have been a lot better in this account. But
Mm.
if your deltas go over 30, try, and if it was your initial trade, try to bring it below 30 again, or adjust it a little bit. But I would get a lot more aggressive tomorrow if we're down big again tomorrow. But I feel like and that this might be the this might be a bigger move than required at this point, as fast as we went down, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the lows a day, and I wouldn't be surprised if we are, half as much down as we are right now. I don't want to, play both sides, but it wouldn't be surprising to me either way, right? And if I was betting, I would bet that we're going to be down around 20 something points in the SP, the ES today. But if I'm wrong, then I will adjust accordingly. But I'm betting that will be the case. And if that is, then the volatility is going to come down quite a bit. Instead of being at the cash right now, instead of being at 21%, we're going to be probably around half of that. And you'll see that in your overall positions, and you'll be fine. But this is that's just my opinion, and if it's worse, then I will adjust accordingly, and I'll show that to everyone. All right. So with that said, and then if you need any assistance, just give me a call, and we'll jump on the 911. We might not be able to do it immediately because I'm with someone else, but we will be able to do it and fix it. And your situation is probably not as bad as this account was a few minutes ago. All right, so any other questions this morning? All right, so if that's it, please send me your status so I can know what's going on, and then we'll plan to help fix any issues if we need to do that. All right, thank you everyone for joining me this morning. I appreciate it. I will send this recording out a little later. Bye now.